Good. Can you hear me okay?
Good. Go ahead.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Sorry about the technical delays there. Good morning. I'm Jim McQuillan, the chair of the California Workforce Pathways Joint Advisory Committee for 2024. I wanted to thank everyone for joining us today. Today's meeting is being conducted virtually, as you can tell. I will ask everyone for their patience and as we navigate through today's meeting. Today's meeting is being broadcast through a live webcast. Interested parties can view the broadcast by visiting the California Workforce Pathways webpage and clicking on the live webcast link located under the 2024 public meeting notices, agendas, and minutes. A recording of this webcast will be archived at the California Workforce Pathways webpage in about a week. I have the following announcements to ensure a smooth meeting. Please keep all microphones on mute. All attendance and motions will be taken by roll call. Committee members will use the raise hand feature in a live webcast to be recognized for providing a comment or question. I will ask for public comment for each agenda item and again at the end of the meeting. Public comments can be made via a live webcast, email, or by phone. All options are explained on the posted agenda. Today we have one item to cover. First, we will have an update on the revisions made to the Strengthening Career and Technical Education for the 21st Century Act, review of the draft Federal Perkins 5 state plan for 2024 through 27. We want to hear an update to those plans. We will conclude today's meeting with a public comment item. We must have a quorum to continue, and since this is a virtual meeting, staff will take attendance by roll call. Rachel, will you please take the roll?
Chair McQuillan.
Yes.
Vice Chair Rawlings.
Present.
Member Escobedo. Member Rodriguez.
Here.
Member Williams.
Here.
Ex officio Member McGuire.
I think we have a quorum. I count 4. Before moving to our first agenda item, I will ask Rachel to announce the staff members who are supporting this meeting remotely today.
Chair McQuillan, can you first call the meeting to order and then we can move into that piece? Sorry.
Oh,
That's all you got to say. Just
yeah. Okay, I missed that part. We do have a quorum. I would like to call this meeting to order at 9:49 here.
Thank you.
And then Rachel, can you announce the staff that are supporting today's meeting, please?
Yes. Good morning, everyone. Myself, Rachel Moran from the California Department of Education, is here on site. Director Pete Callis is here on site with me. Also from the CDE, we have Colby Franklin, who's a manager within our division. And then from the Chancellor's Office today, we have Dean LaCandice Ochoa. And from the State Board, we have Laura Rodriguez.
So item number 1 on our agenda can move us forward, approval of the revisions made to the Strengthening Career and Technical Education for the 21st Century Act. Review of the draft Perkins 5 revisions.
Okay. Good morning. So thank you for having us here for this item. One second. More technical issues. Hold on. There we go. Okay. So item 1, strengthening career and technical education for the 21st Century Act. We're going to review the draft Federal Perkins 5-state plan for 2024 through 27 and review just the edits that we've made to it, and then request approval of the edits and updates that we've made. So this is item 1. Part of our work that we do with the U.S. Department of Education is periodically they will come out and review our programs under the Perkins Act. And so they did this last April of 2023. One of the findings, which they found to be significant, that we had to make edits to the plan, was the CDE failed to use a statutory definition of a secondary CTE concentrator pursuant to Section 312 of Perkins 5. So we walked through the findings. We had a number of other findings that did not meet any of the requirements to make edits to the plan, but this was one of the major ones that they requested that we do make edits. And so part of the planning process that we used was that back in August of 2020, we'd submitted to the Department of Education the California plan for Perkins 5. We started with a transition plan in 2019 to transition between Perkins 4 and Perkins 5. And then we submitted the 2020 through 23 plan for approval to the U.S. Department of Ed. For California for us to receive our fiscal year 2024 Perkins Grant Award, CDE is required to submit one of the following pursuant to Section 122A5 of Perkins 5. And we had 2 options to work from. One option was to redo our entire plan and submit for major significant changes. Or option 2 was an annual revision to establish our SDPLs for fiscal year 2024 and budget for fiscal year 2024. After meeting with the representatives from U.S. Department of Ed, the finding was that we were required to remove the 300-hour requirement that was used to define a concentrator in our plan. So CDE is required to follow through with option 2. So it wasn't a major substantial change, but we did have to edit the plan with option 2. Option 2 required a public comment period and broad stakeholder engagement, approval by presentation to the State Board of Education and Board of Governors, and then the governor's office will sign off on it. So we have all of these laid out pretty tight in our time frame over the next 2 months to get all this approved. So the first step was to bring it to CWPJAC for your review and approval. So the CDE will submit to the Office of Career, Technical, and Adult Education an action plan detailing the steps and timelines to achieve compliance with the statutory definition of a secondary CTE concentrator in its Perkins accountability system. So again, we've already met with them. We've talked to them about what we were going to do. We showed them where we were removing their 300-hour requirement for the concentrator piece. So we've already worked through that process, and we actually presented at the last CWPJAC meeting in February on this. We had one of our items is an introductory item then. So CD updated the language in the state plan and all websites pertaining to Perkins 5 to reflect the 2 courses versus 300-hour requirement for pathway completion. This will be completed no later than June 1 of 2024. We've already done all of this. We've changed it in the plan. We posted the plan online with the edits. We had a public comment period for public comment on this. And looking at the public comment period, it was March 4th, 2024 through April 7th, 2024. This is the link to the website that we have it on. We have it on the CWPJAC page on the CDE website. Along with the updated Perkins 5 plan. So everybody had access to be able to review. We received a total of 11 public comments over the 33-day public comment period. And then on the next slide, I'll discuss what the comments pertain to. But they had to make their comments in an email and include their name, their affiliation, and the public comment that they wanted to submit for this. For the corrective action piece, we did find it on the 300-hour pathway completion requirement on 6 different occasions within the plan. And these were the pages. We actually listed this in the public comment document, so it was easily accessible for the public to see this, along with the CWPJAC members and any other board members that wanted to review this. So the other piece to the public comment was that we had to add our measurable outcomes for Perkins. And so that was on with the public comments so they could review these pieces also. So again, public comment was a 33-day public comment period. We received 11 public comments via email. Almost all the comments were around the 300-hour piece. This piece has been in place for a while, and it's that comfort level with people in the field thinking that the comments were that now we've lowered the requirements on the completer piece, and we actually haven't. It's still 2 courses. It's a 2-course minimum. It's always been a 2-course minimum. The 300 hours normally equates to a 2-course minimum, but the way that it was read by the reviewers from the Department of Education was that in some school settings, courses are shorter in time frame. And if the course was 45 to 48 minutes long per day, the 300 hours would require a 3rd course, because you could not complete 300 hours with 2 courses if the courses were short. So if it was a 7-period day at a high school, the courses shorten up, and then the math kind of we have to deal with that. And so they wanted to assure that all completers were a minimum of 2 courses, not anything over that. And some of it would drive it over that with the 300-hour requirement. Again, it doesn't devalue anything. We've had conversations. I've spoken at a number of conferences this year openly about this. We've had discussions at the conferences during my presentations. So nothing is changing other than we're taking out the 300-hour piece because they felt that it wasn't equitable for some schools to require the 300 hours if they were on a shorter class period day. And that concludes my presentation on what we had to do to get through our Perkins updates this year in the plan. So I turn it back over to you, Chair McClellan.
Thank you, Pete, for that overview. Very good. Are there any member comments before we ask for a motion to approve these revisions? All right. I would like to seek approval of these revisions made to the Strengthening Career and Technical Education for the 21st Century Act, review of the federal draft Perkins 5 state plan for 2024 through 27. Is there a motion?
This is Vice Chair Rawlings. I'll move.
Second.
All right. Motion was made by Rawlings and seconded by Rodriguez. Are there any comments from committee members? Are there any comments from the public? I would like to invite members of the public to provide comments via live webcast or email. We will pause for a minute to ensure the public has an opportunity for making comments.
I think Member Rodriguez.
Oh, yes. I just wanted to say that I appreciate the flexibility, especially for schools that have rural schools and schools that are in very different situations. So thank you for that.
There's no public comment on this item.
All right. I believe we're ready for a vote. Rachel, please call for a roll call vote, please.
Chair McQuillan,
Yes.
Vice Chair Rawlings,
Aye.
Member Escobedo, Member Rodriguez,
Yes.
Member Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you. We will now move to item 2, the general public comment. Public is invited to make any comment on any matter not included on the printed agenda today. Do we have any general public comments?
There are no comments on this item.
Okay.
All right. I think we're ready to conclude today's very short meeting. I see share before we conclude today's meeting. I see the proposed list of meetings for the future here. We will have a May meeting, perhaps, to be announced, 9:30, a September meeting to be announced, and a November meeting in the future. So we'll be anxiously awaiting those dates to be confirmed.
Member Williams had his hand raised.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that. Member Williams?
I just want to continue to lift the idea of trying to figure out how to get paid work experience in for students.
Yeah, very good thought.
We're actually working towards that. We just had a summit on paid apprenticeships, youth apprenticeships, last week with the superintendent. So we're slowly getting to that point of making some progress on that.
Yeah, very good thought. I like that also. Any other thoughts or reflections from the committee? Good, short meeting today.
It was your first meeting, and you have the record for shortest meeting now.
We want to again thank Vice Chairman Rollins for his dedication over the past, what has it been, 3 years or 2 years, or quite a while as a chairman. I have difficult shoes to try to fill.
Glad to pass the torch to you, my friend.
Sorry about the bumpiness today, but here we did it. Thank you all for today's meeting, and have a great Friday and weekend.
We just need you to state the time of adjournment.
Oh, yeah. Call for adjournment at 10:05 here today. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.